Alright, I'm pretty much stalking the video here. Actually looks pretty good for a short right now if it's gonna break down here. I will get in 100 shares here at 50. I'm kind of pushing it here though on the risk side of things. Because depending on what it does here, it could snap right back up and I could be down 50 bucks pretty quickly. I actually think I do want to do 75 shares. I think 100 shares is going to be too much risk because this one can really move all over the place here, but profit target is going to be the low day at 189.75. Just want to see a breakdown underneath this first. Risk is going to be at the whole dollar. So what is that, 191? That's really big. Alright, I have to see what it does here in a second. I know we got all the resistance in the world now. The video is at its all-time highs. I had resistance point or support points at 193.14 and 191.20, but since the VWAP is at that 191.20, you know, support turns into resistance. So definitely another case to add for it. I see something right about here.
JC,
I don't like it for long. I haven't liked it for long because of this VWAP. It's been really struggling to stay above it. So what I'm thinking is we'll see a breakdown here now. The SPY is turning around here. Same with the tech sector, so this is actually looking pretty good right now. Alright, I'm in at 55. Again, I put a stop order in at 50 and it gets me in at 55. I will not understand how that happens. It's got a low of 47. Alright, we closed outside the pattern. Definitely a good sign. Want to see some continuation. Break underneath the 40s. There we go. I'll have to see how it acts around the whole dollar too. Numbers look good here.
CBS.
I want to see more of a move than that. Alright, still closing outside the pattern. Volume is increasing. SPY is still moving down here. Alright, stop loss is going to be a close above the 9. Kind of squeeze all the way back up. Hopefully it's just a retest. Alright, back in the 20s. Want to see in the 10s for sure. Looks like we're gonna get there. Nope, another pop.
CBX.
It is a doji. Doji's not a great sign, but it's not enough to make me say I'll just get out of the trade right now. I still want to wait for a close above the 9. What are we at? 64? Alright, ask closes above 64. I'm out. Yeah, looks like it's gonna do it. Alright. Out of the trade. Too bad. Minus 18 bucks. Thought it might move more, but just didn't move. Guess we'll have to see how it acts with the 20 now. Okay, I am full-size in TNX right now. Looks like I got filled totally in at 85 here. Looking for the bull flag breakup right now. We're going to see how it acts around this 90 here. Okay, broke right through it. Sell have button broke again. Oh, maybe it didn't. Maybe it is still working. Okay. Obviously want target profit to be above 26. Oh, volume is really growing right now. My stop loss is closed below the 9 or back in the pattern. Because this could turn into a rising wedge fairly quickly. But we do have this bottom trend line before anything really starts acting up. So yeah, very nice move, pull back to VWAP, and then now we're kind of consolidating, slowly busting up here. And there's no resistance overhead. The only thing is this whole number here. Lots of sellers. Okay, broke right through it. About to see 26. There's 26. Whole bunch of them there. Wow, that is a lot. Volume is really growing. I want to see the break. Alright, stop as it close below the 9. Here we are again. Here it comes. Here it comes, here it comes. Come on. Oh, looks like we did break. We did break, but it came right back around. I didn't see that. Looks like it's come back up again, though. I don't really have a set profit target. Oh, wow. That's a big turnaround there. Alright, good. That's why I wait for the close. Hopefully we see a bounce off of that. been holding this trend line really well for the past half hour or so, it seems. So I'd like to see it continue holding that. But again, like I was saying, you can see it's kind of making a wedge here. But I definitely don't want to be taking this one short, because you gotta break through all of this. I want to give it that chance to bounce off of this. So it looks like we got 75. We're about to close here in a second. Ooh, big buyer just stepped in.
WMD.
And he's moving up too. Okay. So we're bouncing off of this trend line. Now the real question is going to be what's going to happen up here. Back up around the 26. So we got about 96 or 97 here on the ask, and we might see another bounce drop back down. And if it does, it's probably best if I just get out, because it's making a bearish pattern. I don't really want to hang out inside of that bearish pattern. So we're going to have to see what it does with these numbers here. Lots of sellers up here too. Every time it just, the last seconds of those candles, it squeezes right back up. So have to see if it gets bought back up again. Yeah, looks like we might be going back to the 90s again. Still looks like right on the fives. We got no problems other than the pattern. 15 seconds. I will be exiting this trade if it does just like that. Got 5 seconds to see a big bounce. Nope, nothing. Alright, out of the trade. $36. That was emotionally draining. That was what I really should have done up there. Is as soon as I saw that it broke the 26 and snapped back down, I didn't even see that it broke the 26. I guess it happened so quick. I should have at least taken half off up there. So I guess that's what I get for, you know, holding on for dear life, waiting for this thing to pop back up or something, and you know, it kind of does, and I still don't do anything about it because I want to see how it acts around that 26 still to see if it'll keep moving or not, but oh well, $36 loser. Alright, I'm watching the video here, looking for a wedge breakout up here. I'm only going to take half my size at 70, and then I want to add the rest of my position up at 80 because it's been kind of acting funny around this 50 right here on the ones. On the fives we got a profit target of just above the 89, and then we still have to close above the 9 moving average here as well on the fives. But then when you look at the 15s, we got support on the 9 at this 45 here, and the 10s also kind of got some struggles with the 9. So there's a few things to get out of the way in order for this trade to really start moving up. But it looks like it's going to keep bouncing around, so I might have to flip it back on in a bit. Alright, still watching NTNX here, looking like it's might be finally starting to break out of this wedge that it has been building all day. We just had a really quick move and a pop back up out. I had a stop order in at 14 and it went down to 16. So now it's looking like I'm going to get 200 at 15, and I'm going to add the rest underneath the 5 on the 9s, or the 9 EMA on the 5. Profit target is going to be, I would like it to ultimately be underneath 26 and see what it does around this 20, but I know that this 50 is going to cause some problems, so my profit target is going to have to be somewhere around this 26 here. Check something really quick that I forgot about. So that's 26. Looks like 26 is going to be an area of support now. So yeah, 26 is definitely going to be my profit target. I'm trading a little bit smaller too. Stop loss is going to be a close back in the pattern, so it could be 25, 26, 27. And if I'm going to end up switching it to the ones, it'll be a close over the probably the 20, because this 9 is going to cross over fairly soon here. Boom, boom, boom. Just moving it up a penny. Okay, just got filled on both of them. Looks like I got an average of 12 cents. The 9 is at the 10 cents, so that's going to be a problem. We'll have to see what happens here, though. If it breaks underneath that 9, that's definitely a good sign, but there's really not too much room for this one to go. Okay, very nice move there. So the 5s we got 90, 10s 90, and the 1s we're at it right now. Got another minute till this candle closes. Till the 5-minute closes. So we're going to retest here. Got about 30 seconds. We'll see how it acts with the ones here. Could be bouncing off of that. I'd like to see it drop. Not go up. Go down. It's already quite overextended here. Alright, back to my entry. Now we gotta see what it does around this 50. Let's see, the 9 is at 12. Okay, we'll start breaking underneath it. But we gotta hold, we gotta stick it. I could add under 26 here. Then my target's only 8 cents away. Oh, come on. I just needed to close below it. Not gonna close below it just yet. We're still getting squeezed here. Oh, big buyer there. Oh wow, it's gone. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable enough adding into it. So we're just not gonna do it. We're gonna see how we act around the whole number here.
Shot.
holding, but it hasn't really popped up yet. Okay, wow, that's a big move. Okay, I'm just taking half. I'm just gonna do it. We're just taking half and we're calling it. Lots of buyers here. That squeezed down to 86. Guess I should have added, huh? Retest the number. Very nice move. So next stop here. We're already underneath that. 65. I'll be more than happy to take profits over here too. So it looks like it's not gonna be hitting anything just quite yet. Okay, took another half at 88 there. Alright, I'm going to let the rest of this ride until we close above the 9. I have seen it time and time again in my practice and my other trades that if I just wait for it to close above this 9, I pretty much, I don't know, 70% of the time or something, end up getting more out of it than I would if I just got out now or something crazy. So next we do have, what was it? 65. Okay, so 65 I need to look out for. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, it really could have been a nice add here because it bounced off of this 20 and I could have just added underneath it. I mean, if it makes the pattern and it comes back and retests and it fails like that, I mean, that's a pretty good sign. I want to do a fib retracement. So it looks like this is our first candle. So 54 on this one. I don't know if we're gonna get down to that. Got 63 now. I'd take another partial at it. We got a decent seller here. He's gone. I actually want to do a couple of things here because I gotta go to the bathroom. So I think if we get down there, it'll be about 63. So now I'm afraid if I put in this order, it's gonna immediately take it. So I want to buy if it gets down to 63 here. But I also want a stop loss if it moves up to 26. Okay, we are still moving. Big seller there, gone. Okay. Alright, any pullback. Oh, big buyer there. Shoot, a little too slow. Saw a big buyer there at 60. I'm pretty sure that was 60 anyway. Okay, now this last 50 for sure is absolutely stop at, we'll do 89. I don't want to get out of the trade. I'm afraid to click this button because I don't know if it's gonna execute it, because I know stop orders get you in at that price or better. So if I'm trying to sell, it'll sell at this price or better. Wow. Pop there, let's see how it reacts now. Still nothing. Alright, close at 85, I'm out. If I only held on to the whole thing the whole time here. I know 80-ish was around the big area where I should have taken profits. At the time anyway. It was more like even 90, so I mean, I took all my partials at the right spots. It's just, you know, you can never tell if it's going to be a huge mover like this or not, so why risk it? Take your money when you got it. It's got to close. Got 15 seconds. Okay. Still got to close. I'll give it a tick. Alright, totally out of the trade. I think I don't know how to make it. I was down 36, so it was almost a $100 trade. I think it's like a $90 trade. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and when I come back, I am going to do my recap. Okay, so doing my big recap of the day. Took 3 trades today on 2 stocks. Definitely saw a lot between both of them there, but there's probably maybe 5 or 6 trades in total, but I only took about 3 of them. The other 3 I wasn't really that super comfortable with. So first trade that I took was Nvidia. Looks like at 52 here, Right about here, I wanted to take it short underneath the breakout of this triangle. I'll draw it again. Only taken 75 shares on this. I definitely waited for the 9 and the 20 to start, coming underneath it, and it made that move down. I think, yeah, max favorable was 190.21, so I was profitable on this trade for, 25 bucks, and I was risking 33, so I mean, it wasn't really far enough for me to say, alright, that's good enough, let's take the winner and let it go. I wanted to wait and see what happens around the 9, so it ended up closing above it, and I ended up getting out at 79, like right at the top of this candle. There wasn't really, I was a small loser, it was only an $18 loser, but I think that's just a trade that I was just going to lose because, it didn't really go far enough for me to say, alright, let's take my profits. That seems to be about where as far as it's going to go. I mean, the first spot you could really think that it's going to turn and reverse would be, the low of this pullback, and then the next was the low of the day, and maybe around the whole number as well. And I mean, it kind of did, it made a nice doji down here at the bottom, which is definitely another sign that it doesn't really want to move. The volume on it wasn't massive though or anything, but I wanted to stick to my rule, wait until the 9, it closed above the 9, and I mean, the next candle it did. But if I held on, maybe, say, my stop loss could have been the 20 instead, or even just a close back above VWAP or something. But that's, if it was above VWAP, that was what? That's, that's 60 cents to only make. Yeah, maybe a little more than 60 cents. And on triangles, I want to find that 3-to-1 risk reward. Wedges are the ones where you find the 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 even. If it's a really good wedge, it's a 1-to-2. But triangles, you always want to find that 1-to-3 or 1-to-4 or even something, Usually not much less than that, so. I mean, I guess it was a trade where my risk was kind of bigger all around. Either way, no matter which way I looked at it or took it. But I mean, it ended up making the move finally, it broke down underneath the low day and then kind of hovered around this pivot point, and the 50 caught up with it, and that didn't make a difference, and it still broke underneath that and ended up popped back up. And I mean, if I was into this trade the whole time, my next spot that I would have exited would have been all the way down here 50. So I mean, I could have gotten $1 on it, could have been a $75 trade or so. I don't know, just the way that I followed my rules, followed my plan. I don't really know how I feel about entering back in on triangles that didn't break down the first time. I guess I could have looked at it like this and, re-entered the trade on the breakdown of that. That actually might have been a little bit better of a scenario, because I could have entered it here around 25 and then added my second half around the 11 and, see how it acts around the whole number. I mean, it broke through, came back up. Still kind of sitting, hovering around. Yeah, I probably could have entered this trade again. I probably shouldn't have left this one because it bounced right off of VWAP and came right back to where it was. Yeah. Okay, so that's another trade that I should have thought about joining back in. I need to write that down. Okay, so yeah, glad I looked at that one. What did I write about it? Nice triangle, looks good for a short if it is rejected by the VWAP. So yeah, that was first trade. Minus $18 loser. Could have turned it around. Didn't. I know later in the day, NVIDIA was setting up for a falling wedge too. Might not have been. Yeah, it might have been this one. I mean, it makes a nice little pop up there, but whenever the wedges start including pivot points and everything, that's when I start to get a little iffy, because usually whenever I deal with wedges, I just want to have to deal with the moving averages. I mean, any wedge trade that I take, 9 times out of 10, it is always going to come in contact with a few of the moving averages at some point. On the 5s, it didn't really look that clean, I remember. Yeah, maybe draw it right about here, and then from these two there, and then, you know, it still kind of squeezes up. But again, you know, there's no real big moves, nothing that it's really doing, so just decided to skip out on those trades. Then I took NTNX. So I bought at 25. Ah, yes, this was the bull flag. I believe I took this on the 5s too. That's a little too tight. I don't remember what I did for this one. Maybe I drew it on the 1s. I mean, it looks really good on the 1s and the 5s, but if it looks better on the 5s, you know, you always want to take it on the 5s. Kind of having that top out look. Yes, this was definitely it. Took it long. I didn't really have a profit target because it wasn't at a spot where there was really, you know, a place to be taking profits. Well, now that I look at it, looking at the daily over here, I don't know what exactly it was that I missed. I didn't write it on my sheet because I think whenever I was looking at this, you know, you can see it open up down here, I thought that it was gonna, you know, reject pretty hard off of this because you got this nice little flag form, but I mean, it broke out pretty hard out of that. So I mean, I only wrote my risk up to this 25, or my resistance up to 25.52 here, which was the opening of this candle here when, you know, it dropped down, and then now we're kind of rehovering the area. I didn't write down that at 26, you know, there's going to be some resistance here because of the support in the past, and, you know, we skipped right over that area, so that's going to be a big deal coming back and looking at it. So obviously I take it long, not knowing this. My risk was at 70 cents, so it was somewhere around the close below the 9 EMA, I remember, or obviously a close back in the pattern on the 5s. So, you know, 70 is kind of pushing it. 75 was probably a better spot if I was taking this long on the 5s. So I mean, I entered in, I'm risking, you know, 10-15 cents to make 10-15 cents. So again, this is another situation where the triangle is only a 1-to-1, which just flat out isn't enough. So obviously hit that 26, broke out. There was a lot of action going on around it at the time. You see the volume going crazy over here, and obviously gets rejected, comes back, and I let this thing run all the way against me for a $36 loser. What I should have done is I probably shouldn't even taken the trade in the first place, because, you know, the risk reward isn't that great. There's nothing special about it. There's not really a way to make it so that my risk is really tight. You know, I could risk 5 cents to make 25 cents, or, you know, I could have hopped in at 80, but then, you know, you gotta deal with the high a day, and I wanted to make sure that I got, you know, at the high a day, and it wasn't just gonna reject me at the high of day. So I guess what I could have done is I could have taken half size, which I think I did. I think this is that where I got filled in, I mean, obviously within 2 seconds, but I mean, it made the move really quickly. So I mean, I could have taken half size on a breakout out of the pattern at 80, and then the rest at the breakout of the 86 up there. But I ended up just getting full size at the 85. So I mean, again, I'm risking 10 cents just to make 10 cents. It's just not that good. You know, I can try and morph it to the point where it sounds better if I say it, you know, try and make myself right, but just flat out wasn't the best of trades, you know. So I mean, it made the move, it broke out, but the resistance was just too close to it, so rejected me, ended up cutting off a loser way too late. I mean, I obviously should have been paying attention to the daily chart, and I would have recognized that much quicker. Could have taken profits up at 26 instead of, you know, waiting for it to have some sort of huge crazy breakout. And then lastly, I was looking at NTX over here for a rising wedge. Ended up being a very nice pattern, very nice play. Even looks good on the 5s. I had to redraw it a couple of times, but overall, you know, I had to keep changing my plan, you know, what it was I want to do, where I want to place my stop loss, but everything ended up working out just great in the end. So I shorted it 200 shares, half size, at 13. I noticed that on this big spec I actually had an order in at 14, but you know, it came back, retested the 9 as well as the 20, and then it really looks good from that point. So I ended up getting filled in at 13, and I wanted to take it short again underneath the 10 because at the time the 9 on the 5 or the 9 EMA on the 5-minute chart was going to act as some pretty big support, so I wanted to catch it on a break underneath it. So it came back, you know, I broke underneath it, broke underneath the 50 on the 1 because I knew that was again going to be another area, but then it obviously retests like it's usually going to do if it bounces off of any, you know, number of areas. So in this case we had 2 areas that it bounced off of. Then it retested the 20 up here, which I definitely really liked, because then it turned around, and then here is where I was debating if I wanted to add into this position, because we had a breakout of the pattern, we had a retest, and it failed the retest at the 20, and then it broke through the 50 again, and it broke through the 9 on the 5s. So I mean, the only issue that I had with this one is that this 26 is going to be a whole number, and it's going to be, you know, a point of, in this case now it's going to be support, because again, go back to the daily, you can see that what once was resistance is now going to be support. So I mean, it tore right through the thing though, so I mean, I could have added, you know, another 200 shares, and ultimately my target profit was this 9 here, or the 20 on the 5s. I was around that 92, and I mean, I took my partial at that 94, so with that extra add-on that I did exactly what I wanted to with it. And then the next spot that was going to be of some concern was this 63.64 down here on the 15. Ended up getting all the way down there, and it bounced right off of it. So I mean, I took my other partial at 88. Why did I take it at 88? I don't remember, but I took my other partial at 88. I think it was just one of those situations where, okay, you know, I'm up, I don't know, 30 cents almost on the stock, and you know, I've got 200 shares left. I'm just gonna keep taking profits, you know, sell into, or buying, or cover into strength, I guess, cover into weakness, whatever it is, and then just let the rest ride until, you know, my usual close above the 9 EMAs on the 1s. Ended up being a really nice trade, put me green on the day. I mean, if I played this the way that I should have, you know, this could have been a $100 day because of that other NTNX trader. At least a little less than 100, somewhere in like the 80s, 90s, something like that. But you know, it's always good to go back and look at it and recognize your mistakes. Just make sure you don't do it again. You know, you're gonna make mistakes over and over and over again. You just gotta keep on it. Make sure you're keeping them in mind. Try not to repeat them in the future. You know, every stock's going to be different, every trade's going to be different, nothing's going to be the same. You just got to apply all your rules and knowledge to each and every trade that you do. So, just the way it is, barely green, feeling good, gotta go work out, do some more work, practice, and I'll be back in tomorrow. Thanks for watching.